yes, yes, yes. Shoot, I feel like I don't have to say anything now. We didn't have some church. Hey, man, I need a little cooling off. The fruit of our labor. But, of course, before I get into the message, I do have a little funny for you. And this came by way of Reverend Amon through one of his students. And it says, Forrest Gump dies and goes to heaven. And you know that Forrest Gump looked at the world a little different than most of us. So it says that Forrest dies and goes to heaven when he's met by St. Peter. And St. Peter says, well, Forrest, it's certainly good to see you. I must inform you that the place is filling up fast. And we've been administering an entrance exam for everyone. The test is short, and all you have to do is pass it to get into heaven. And all it is 3 questions. The first question is, what days in the week begin with the letter the letter T? The second question is, how many seconds are there in a year? And what is God's first name? Forrest says, well, the first one, how many days in the week, begins with the letter T? This is easy, today and tomorrow. St. Peter opened his eyes wide and said, Forrest, that's not what I was thinking, but I'll give you credit for the answer. How about the next one? How many seconds are there in the year? And Forrest said, well, now this is a little harder, but I think I can guess the only answer is 12. And St. Peter said, 12? Forrest, how would you come up with that? 12 seconds in a year. He said, January 2nd, February 2nd, March 2nd. And then the third question is, what's God's first name? And he said, well, that's easy. His first name is Andy. And St. Peter said, well, how did you get that? He said, Andy? He said, yes, that's the easiest one of all. And he walks with me, and he talks with me, and Andy tells me that I'm his very own. St. Peter opens the pearly gates and said, run, Forrest, run. The fruit of our labor in chapter 18, Law of Attraction. In order to have something we've never had, we have to do something we've never done. It starts with our changing the mind, our stream of thinking. We then change the flow of the universal power in our direction. This energy and power fills an open vessel that's open in mind. For what we think spills into how we feel, into that heart chakra. It spills into our life, the things that we do, our workplace, our family. What you're thinking, what you're holding in mind determines how you're going to feel, which is going to determine how you behave, how you act, what you say, what you think of people. We're talking about a principle. We're talking about the energy, the stream of God consciousness flowing and filling each space. In our heart, in our mind, in the soul of our being. We're celebrating feminine energy, our creative power, that energy that resides within all, just as masculine energy resides within all. And it's not by force, but by our innate God-given gifts that we are first must be aware of, and then strive to understand, which is recognition and unification of what's possible with God. And we say that all things are possible with God until we think that it's not. And we're never supposed to move into that direction. All things are possible with God. Not a few things, not a few people, but for all of us when we use the power correctly. With love, with kindness, with care, with patience, with respect. See, we got to give what we expect others to give to us. I was taught, and I believe what is written, that it is possible with God if you think so, if you believe it to be so, and if you trust in this invisible power. Healing is possible. Unexplainable events, things that the human mind can't comprehend, but all you got to do is throw it out there and let God do the rest. You do what you can and let God do what you can't. There's a power for our greater good, and we have given the keys, access to this power. So it's up to each individual to use those keys. You got a spiritual tool chest that can fix anything when you speak your word. See, prayer is not begging or beseeching. Prayer is affirmative thinking and speaking. I believe that my body is whole, perfect, and complete, even when you don't feel like it, because we were told to look beyond appearances. You take that pain wherever it is and you talk to it. Mind over matter. Your mind over this matter. If you could believe that the hand of God is healing your body, it starts to happen. You will feel it and sense it, but not until you truly believe it. See, we can't just talk with words. We can't just hope for it. We got to speak it with authority and then trust God to do what God does, heal his children. We celebrate this Mother's Day, that feminine energy, by giving honor to those mothers, grandmothers, great-grandmothers, great-great and beyond, stepmothers, foster mothers, adoptive mothers, church mothers, fathers, family members who step in as mothers, to step in and step up and fulfill the void and give love and care. That's what that feminine energy is. The feminine energy is the love. The masculine energy is the executor. Blessing to those who are still with us, those that have put their wings on. May we enter into a consciousness of thanksgiving and forgiveness for those mothers who were not equipped to give us what we needed. They gave us their best. I said their best. That best may not have been good enough for each of us, but they gave us what they could. And so we must sit in forgiveness and be a better person, but at least they got us here. Amen? The request, the call from God was to get us here, and we are here. How we get here? Through the many experiences, and those experiences have sustained us. We can go down the line of all the negativity, all the problems, all the issues, but we're still standing, as Jewel told us last week. We're still here on this day with the opportunity to do a new thing. We can sustain ourselves through the power and belief in God. Our experiences and scars prove that we won the battle. When you see scars, when you think about how heavy your heart has been at times, you won that battle though. You're still here. God has need of you. That's why you're here. So why complain? Why regret when we have been given another opportunity to do a new thing, to think a new thought, to be more kinder, to call that one you ain't talked to in 2 or 3 years? Isn't it amazing how family can live in the same neighborhood and don't talk to each other for years? And do you know that you're holding something, and that something is going to show up in your life some kind of way? We shouldn't hold nothing against anybody, including self. Today is a day that you can let it go. And you say, well, Reverend Lisa, it's not that easy. It's easy if you believe. I'm going to let this go. I'm not going to walk around with all this garbage in my mind and in my heart any longer. I'm going to set myself free. I got the keys to unlock the prison I put myself in. We do not have to wander through life. We affirm, declare our life, taking our living to a greater expression in the one that holds it, love and patience, our God, as we journey. See, no matter what we've done, God still loves us and will give us and do for us whatever we believe God to do. So why would we hold anything against anybody else? I always tell you, just because you don't like grape Kool-Aid, you don't have to talk about it. Just drink your cherry. As we journey along, may we do the same with everyone else that crosses our path. We were created to be joyful. Otherwise, how does God get the glory? If it has created a world and gave all beauty, choice, and dominion, joy, how do we end up so sad and angry when we have joy? We possess joy. Take it out of the closet and utilize it. We always covering it up with stuff. Like I tell you all the time, we get these exercise machines, and then you can't find it because you didn't put all the clothes on it. So you're not even utilizing it. And that's what we do with the gifts that God has given us. We've covered it up with life issues. We're going to have some issues in this thing called our life. But what you do with the issues will determine the outcome. For the change we say we want, dive into it. May we cease being angry, hurt, mad, regretful at anyone, any experience, any outcome. It happened. You can't unring a bell. Can't change what's already occurred. It was a class. It was for you to strengthen your spiritual muscles, to make you stronger, to help you to see the power that you possess. I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. Our teaching tells us forgiveness, a letting go of this past that seems to plague us. Eckhart Tolle tells us, allow stillness to teach you stillness. If you don't take the time out every single day and sit and sup and commune with God, you don't do anything to change your life, to grow spiritually. So you have to take that time. You eat every day. Pray every day. Every hour on the hour, even if it's nothing but thank you, Lord. Because when you are thankful and grateful, it changes the atmosphere. It changes how you feel on the inside. If we don't allow ourselves time to be still and know every day, we won't see life changing. You know, regret and guilt is a stinky perfume. Get out of your own way. Let go and let God. We got to access and activate our spiritual side more than anything else. We were created in the image and likeness of God. We need to act like it, smell like it, and think like it. The ability to move through life's challenges, carving out the everyday, allows us to build resilience to life, the stresses, the family issues, service situations. Just walking down the street to know you are empowered and strengthened, equipped with all that is needed. Can you imagine how freeing that is? Our body language tells us how we're doing on the inside. A lot of people are always frowned up. If anybody's watching number 45, that's the frowningest man I've ever seen. But you show it on your face. Your body tenses up when you're angry at something. You got to learn to take deep breaths and allow yourself to relax as you journey through this thing that we call our lives. You know, when people get anxious and somebody will take them and shake them to shake it out of them or slap you across the face, when all you got to do is take a deep breath. Sometimes 2 or 3 is necessary. But take it. It relaxes the body. It allows you to feel your empowerment. It allows you to know that you are a child of God. You are here on purpose for a divine purpose. We need to live like it, think like it, speak like it, and treat everybody like it, because all are God's children. And when we get into an argument, when we talk about somebody, we're talking about one of God's kids. See, we got to see the spiritual, not the human part, not the personality, not the character of a person. They've given you the best that they have. Hurt people hurt people. And misery does love company. So somebody that always like to argue, that's when you turn the other cheek, and that just means get on out of there. Not to stay and be baited and allow them to bring you into the argument, because you're going to have to pay for it somewhere in your living, in your life. And it may take over in your body, in your relationships, in your finances. But anytime we are out of divine order, it's going to have to mirror back to us what we've done, what we're thinking. And just because you don't say something audibly, just thinking it, already have committed the crime. The universe already knows what you're thinking. And see, the Lord knows us by our heart, because we can say anything out of our mouths. We can be brainwashed to think a thing, but that the heart you cannot fool. You cannot manipulate the heart at all. So that's how God truly knows you, is what you're feeling on the inside. Because that means that you're thinking a thought that is out of divine right action. The fruit of loving, caring, being, knowing, enjoying this thing called life. The birth of Mother's Day started in the early 1900s by Anna Jarvis. She saw her mother as well as other mothers devoted to the church and how they help people with unconditional love. And so in 1907, Woodrow Wilson signed a bill that allowed Mother's Day to always be the second Sunday of May. The awakening of the feminine energy in our men. See, a lot of men has been taught to be so tough, not to tap into the softer side, because then it appears that you're weak, but you're not. You're supposed to be caring and loving. You're supposed to be able to listen and talk and have conversation. That doesn't make you weak. That makes you strong in the spirit, that you've tapped in deeper than you've been walking around. And see, back in the day, and maybe even still now, I remember seeing when a little boy would cry, they would punch him in the chest and tell him to man up. But to me, it's okay to cry. If you wasn't supposed to cry, God wouldn't have gave you tear ducts. Release those emotions, because that's why you have so much domestic violence. That's why men are so angry, because they're not allowed to release. And even us women, we can't look at them as weak. We have to look at them as they're able to share what they're feeling with us, and not allow them to make them hide from what they're feeling. Tell them to take those deep breaths. Feminine energy is that power of God that is intuitive, a spiritual connection, a knowing, a gut feeling, that third eye seeing, that looks beyond appearances, goes beyond gender and personality. It's our opportunity to truly connect the divine feminine within self. Be that listener. Be that one. Kirk Franklin has a song that says, "You may be the only Jesus that someone knows." You may be. So step up in your spiritual self. Train yourself to demonstrate and act like you're a son or a daughter of God. This right here, this thing called earth, this is the biggest classroom we're going to ever be in. And you're going to have to learn something every day. And you know, sometimes I tell you, when you go out, there's going to be a pop quiz. There's going to be a test. And sometimes you got to get your master's and your doctorate out there in them world. Because somebody's going to come to show you where you are in your spiritual journey. Don't let them bait you. The ability of releasing hurt and pain reduces anger. It reduces abuse, even to oneself. God bestowed upon all emotions that are to be balanced. With the women and the men, we're talking about love and wisdom. The intuitive perception of truth accompanied with wisdom. The giver, the receiver, that each knows what and how to balance without feeling inferior or superior. You know, some people walk around like they're the only ones on the earth, but we all have equal access to what God has bestowed upon each of us. God didn't give any more to one than he did to all. It's just others use it. That requires learning, requires our labor to work on it. That part of each of us, life requires us to work and enjoy the fruit of our labor, and to do it with joy and appreciation, and then share it. And that glorifies our Father, our Creator, our Spirit, God. Chapter 18, the law of attraction in our textbooks reminds us this planet requires our participation. But unfortunately, not all are awakened to their part. It's not a fault, but an awareness and a recognition and a willingness to put labor and work in place. Nothing is for free. We got to work. And when we demonstrate God, it's the price that we pay for being on this earth. Whatever we deposit, there is an opportunity of a withdrawal. So like I said, every single day we need to speak our word. We need to pray. We need to put something in our spiritual bank account. Because then when you need God, and you're going to need, you ain't made a deposit, you can't go get nothing out. And I told you before, try doing that to the bank. Don't make a deposit and try to go get something. When we recognize our fruit, our service, our labor, that is simply an ability we have to change the course of the journey. If you don't like it, you have the power to change. But you have to believe that you have that power. You got to trust that this invisible power, see, we so nosy, we want to see everything. But the Spirit of God has to be talked into and then brought out. It says in the beginning, it was God and the Word. So in the beginning, in your new journey, in your new stream of thinking, has to be your word. Speak your word of healing, mind, body, and soul, and the body of your affairs. Speak into it, trusting and believing, and you keep saying it until you believe it. And once you believe it, the energy starts to go to work on your behalf. That's how everything is made. You first got to think it, you got to speak it, then you got to go to work on it. And your working is your praying, because then you're watering the word that you put out there in the universe. Ernest Holmes tells us there is an irresistible universe and a divine urge that something within is happening. It beckons each of us to express the principle, thought atmosphere. For as we are always attracting relationships, people, we are attracting things to us just by your energy and your vibration. How you walk around, you say, how do I always end up with the same person? Because you got the same expectation in a man or a woman, in the kind of work that you do. You want to change it? You got to change your thinking. Change your life, change your mind. And you will see it unfold. That's how anything and everything comes. Somebody thought of it. Somebody believed it. Somebody trusts in the power of God. And that's how it comes. Somebody had unwavering faith. Be anchored in your truth. Tell yourself every day, I'm a divine son and daughter of God. It gives God good pleasure to re-gift us the kingdom. He already gave us everything we needed, but we can't see for looking. So God re-gifts it when we claim it. Who can find anything against Psalms 128:2? Living in joy, love, peace, patience, kindness, generosity, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control, and goodness. That's why, men, you are included in this feminine energy. Because when you give those attributes, which are attributes of God, we change the world. We change the dynamic. Can you imagine how you feel when somebody comes in a room and they look at you and a big smile just comes over their face? Doesn't that make you feel good? Well, how do you feel in the opposite? You got to treat people how you want to be treated. Everywhere you go, you should take a smile with you. Why? Because you're able to go somewhere, obviously. If nothing but that. We are all to demonstrate these qualities. It does not make anything other than an expression of the one who called us forth. You will, personally, I will, individually, we will, united. We'll eat the fruit of our labor, blessings and prosperity, for it shall be ours. Psalms 128 also tells us we as women, wives, mothers, is like a fruitful vine, allows creating through havoc or peace. We get to choose. Our children will be like olive shoots, a blessing to the one who respects the Lord. We are speaking upon the feminine energy. If you notice, feminine has the number 9 in it. And we are always pregnant with something. But what are we going to give birth to? If you look at the number 9, you're pregnant with something. And then we're supposed to think about the number 6, because then it's going to drop down and we're able to give birth to the healing, to the new job, to the vacation you've been dreaming about. Whatever you desire, you got to keep your eyes on the prize, and that's God. Feminine energy, our ability to create a new thing, a new experience, a new way of thinking, speaking, being, living, a total commitment to the truth of our being. The only way we enter into an eternal life peacefully is knowing that we have the choice to go willingly, wherever you want. We can either go willingly, walking with, remember, his name is Andy. And he walks with me and he talks with me and tells me I'm his very own. Everywhere that we go and everything that we do, we should be communing with God. Always. And we can either do it willingly or we can do it kicking and screaming. You got choice. Choose today whom ye shall serve. Affirming, declaring, knowing everything is. I said is. Not might, but everything is working together for my good. Can you imagine claiming that? Every day, everything is working together for my good. Even when circumstances and issues come up, this is working together for my good. God is going to get the glory out of this. And it's not just idle words, it's talking yourself into believing who you are and whose you are. Each generation of humanity is here to rise to a higher level of awareness and understanding. And the use of our spiritual power are gifts of unlimited potential, infinite possibilities. Potential is our utilization of God's power moving upon our opportunities that are unlimited. We limit God's expression in our lives. God don't withhold from us. If you think God is moved, it's you that left. God is everywhere present at all times. But it's only to our turning to God that we can sense his presence. And when something is overwhelming, just say, Lord, help me to sense your presence right here. Help me to feel you in this circumstance and situation. Help me, assist me. Because God knows where you are. Infinite possibilities is what we believe God can and will do for us by doing it through us, as us. What is the fruit of our labor? I want to close with this song. It's by this guy, Johnny Lang, and he sings it with Michael McDonald. And it says thankful. This is the name of the song. It says someone standing in the welfare line or off the freeway with a hungry sign. Someone stressing, about to lose their mind. I got to be thankful. Thankful. Someone just became a single mother. Someone just lost their sister or brother. It is important that we love each other. So be thankful. Be thankful. I got to take the time to say that I am thankful for every single breath that I take. I got to be thankful. Someone sitting in a prison cell, wasting away in their own personal hell. Everybody's got their own story to tell, but I got to be thankful. Thankful. Man, I used to think I didn't have a lot, but I realized just how much I've got. Now, every day, I'm going to take the time to stop and be thankful. Got to take the time to be thankful. That I want to be thankful for every breath that I take. Any one of these so easily could have been me. And if it had not been for the grace and mercy, who knows where I'd be? I've been riding on this roller coaster ride round and round. I've seen the ups and downsides, and I'm here to tell you the secret of life is to be thankful. Every day, speak that word. Lord, I am thankful. And you'd be surprised the mountains that being thankful can move. Peace and blessings. Thank you.